Welcome, everyone. Give everybody a few minutes to join here. Welcome, welcome. Just waiting on some people to come in. All right. So excited that you are here today. I am going to be walking you through some 3 ways that we can use LinkedIn to land a job faster. So these are going to be 3 key changes that your job search strategy can shift so that you're not spending months in this job search, but rather days. And we're not going to be relying on sending hundreds of resumes and cold outreach messages. So let's dive in. I'm so excited you're here. Kate, so excited that you're here. Good to see you again. All right. So if you're here, you might be in a couple different situations, right? Some of you may be all but weeks into the job search. Some of you may have been in there for months into the job search, right? Others are thinking about jumping in. But if this sounds like you and you're dreaming of having a career that you don't dread at the end of the day, and let's be honest, you can close your laptop and show up at home with some more energy that's left, then like amazing. But some of you might be questioning if finding that job is even possible, or if this sounds like you. Maybe you are looking for an easier way to find quality jobs, companies that fit what you're looking for on LinkedIn, because let's be honest, you're getting exhausted from sending hundreds of resumes, what seems like into this black void where they go to die. And some of you might be altogether ignoring this need for networking, thinking, oh gosh, it's awkward. I don't feel comfortable. Like that's just so far outside of my comfort zone. Or maybe you're just done. Like you're feeling overwhelmed, you're exhausted, you're just trying to honestly land any interview, let alone your dream role interview. And like, seriously, where are they? So where are they? Maybe you have a vision for finding a career that aligns to your values. Some of my clients that come to me, they're like, nope, I know exactly what I want. Others are like, I don't even know where to start. So whether you have that vision or you don't, sometimes the struggle comes in how to communicate our worth. So how are you communicating your value? The real problem, like if we're really being honest, you might just be wasting hundreds of hours slinging the same old resume after resume out into that void when 80% of jobs are actually filled in this hidden job market. Some of you might be like, what is a hidden job market? We'll get into that, I promise. You may not even have a clear job search strategy and know how to use LinkedIn to help you. So what's the result? You stay stuck, you stay right where you are, and you don't get any traction, and you are exhausted. So today I am so excited. I want to jump into LinkedIn specifically, and I'm going to talk about this hidden job market, which is what I was talking about earlier, where you can tap into things that you didn't even know were there. 2, we're going to show how you can become more visible on LinkedIn so that people are actually reaching out to you and you're not only reaching out to them. And then number 3, we are going to make networking not feel so cringy. Let's be honest. It's outside of so many people's comfort zone. And so how do we do that without feeling transactional? So let's finally drop this struggle. Let's see how we can shift your job search and show up as your best self. But first, why should you listen to me? My name is @𝗀𝗽𝗆𝗆, and I'm a certified professional career coach, and I like to say a recovering corporate leader. And I've spent over 15 years in the corporate world, climbing the ladder, creating job opportunities for myself through organic conversations, and negotiating my value and sometimes my promotions. Things are not handed to us, so you have to learn how to go out and get it. And these are now some of the same job search strategies and techniques that I use with my mid-career professionals, my clients that I work with, and we get to land their dream roles. Some of them are seeing 5-figure salaries we negotiate, which is amazing. And ultimately, what I love is finding that career that somebody finally has that aligns to their values and their lifestyle. When those are out of alignment, that is when we start to feel unfulfilled. So let's jump in. And if you stay with me until the end, you're engaged in chat, I'm going to give one lucky winner my free Network Like a Pro guide that gives them all kinds of tips and tricks on how to make networking work for them. Okay, let me hear in chat. I want you to say, what is that first word? When I say LinkedIn or you hear LinkedIn, what word comes to mind for you? Sometimes people think it's maybe professional. What word comes to mind? Drop it into chat. Yes, professional. There, yep. Career success. Yes. So, yes, Kate, I hear you. Some people don't even know where to start with LinkedIn. And so when we think of LinkedIn, it really is that. It's that professional network. It is the #1 platform. And this is why, yes, Rahul, networking. This is why I'm focused on this today. This is so important when it comes to your career. And there's actually over 1 billion people on LinkedIn. But when you look at how many are actually active, it's somewhere north of 700 million plus members. That is a lot of networking. Yes, a lot of you are putting networking, visibility, self-promotion. When you have a platform that connects you with that many people, you realize why this is such a big focus area when it comes to your career visibility, your career success, and how we network. 4 out of 5 of those members are actually decision makers. These are where exactly you find a job, where there's opportunities. These are the decision makers that you want to get in front of. They're the ones that are going to be making these hiring decisions, who are going to be driving the interview process. So this is why it's so important to show up as your best self on LinkedIn. And a topic I'm going to get to here in a little bit, most importantly, your profile. People who have a comprehensive profile are actually 71% more likely to get an interview. That's crazy. And so many profiles that I see, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, that is not possibly your best self. I know you can bring more value than that. So let's jump right in to shift #1. We are going to stop relying on mass applying or just clicking the easy apply button and then crossing our fingers and hoping we get an email or a conversation or an interview. So how many of you have heard of the hidden job market? Drop a yes or a no into chat. This is something, it's usually 50-50 whether or not you even know what the hidden job market is. Sometimes people are like, I've heard of the hidden job market, but I'm not really sure how to access it, or I don't know where it is. How many of you have heard of the hidden job market? All right. Yes. So the hidden job market is so valuable. And when you think of LinkedIn and the hidden job market, this is not just your job board, right? This is a technique and a search tip I want to give you today. If you are in this job search world right now, where we are reaching out and we are looking for alumni, second-degree connections, maybe some hiring managers. And it's about 50-50 in chat. Some of you know who it is. Yep, heard, but still not sure what it contains. So what this is not just your job boards with all these open job roles, right? We are trying to find those opportunities beneath all of that. And so through this way of searching, we are able to uncover many things, which I'll get to in a second. But this is also what creates opportunities, because 50 to 80% of jobs are actually filled through referrals. That's a lot. And so now you know why I'm emphasizing, like, stop just mass applying. It's quality over quantity. And one of the actions I want you to take after today's session, I want you to go make a list of 10 companies if you are currently looking for that next role. And I want you to find somebody within this hidden job market to just start a quick chat with, to reach out, to connect on LinkedIn with. And we'll get to how we do that when we get to shift number 3. Okay, so secret number 1, Boolean searches. Pro tip, here you go. When you go to the upper corner in your LinkedIn, in the search bar, I want you to search either your target job title, you can do your target company, and then follow that up with #hiring. This is what it can look like. Let's say I am a project manager, or maybe I'm targeting 2 different roles, looking for both product manager and project manager roles. So I would go up and I would type in project manager, and then in parentheses, I would put and, followed by product manager, and then I would end it with #hiring. So this is going to show me both options within both of those areas that also include the #hiring. Now, when you hit enter, you're going to start to get all different sections. Before you start scrolling, I also want you to, very importantly, filter the date. A lot of you in this market right now know that anything recent, like, that's going to be most important. If it's something like older than a couple of weeks, even a month, sometimes they're so far along in the interview process or you're too late to the game. So I like to filter by either the past 24 hours or past week, and then hit show results. What this does, it shows you different sections. Yes, you will have the list of jobs that match this, but I want you to look at the post section. And the reason being, this is going to also include posts from recruiters, from hiring managers who are hiring that aren't actively listing their job in the job board. Or if they are listing the job in the job board, they're giving you complete gold, to be honest, context that you can then use. This example right here, so you can see it popped up, a product manager role that this hiring manager was hiring for, includes that #hiring. So what does this give me? It gives me 2 things. 1, it gives me a direct name of somebody that I can reach out to and start a networking conversation with. So this is hidden, Samuel, because this wasn't even on the job board. So when people think, oh, I'm going to go look for jobs, I'm going to go to the job board and just search for product manager or project manager, this role specifically wouldn't even show up there. So that's sometimes why it's hidden, is because they're not always posted there, and there's opportunities that people are looking for that aren't necessarily actively hiring. And so when you go to some of those jobs on the job board, a lot of times you find yourself searching for somebody who might be in a role that we think is the hiring manager or could be the recruiter, but we're not always 100% sure unless they are tagged to that job. And so this gives me somebody I can directly reach out to. And second value here, if you read this role is for someone who, and then she went into details of what that ideal candidate looks like. This is pure gold. So now you can see, okay, this is her ideal candidate. I have this experience. This is how I need to tailor my message. This is how I need to show up in this outreach conversation for networking, and how I would show up in the interview to key in on a lot of the things that she said she was looking for. So you can see how this search and going about finding opportunities this way gives you things that sometimes the job description itself is never going to give you. So it kind of gives you a behind the scenes look of what they're really looking for. Here is Brad. This is one of my clients who started doing this technique, really started to get into a rhythm of taking 10 minutes out of his day to do this. And he started to go from like 0 to 6 replies in the very first week he started to tap into this hidden job market. And now, instead of having all of these slinging applications out there, there are 2 to 3 new, what I would call warm job opportunities every week for him. And he is so, so close to an offer. I'm so excited for him. But you may ask, why do you call it a warm job opportunity? Because it's not just a job opportunity he's applying to. These are real conversations going on that were driven from him reaching out via making these searches, reaching out with connection requests, tapping into something they said, and starting to build those connections there. Which takes me to shift number 2. This is very, very important. And I want each of you to review your LinkedIn profile, because where is the number one place somebody is going to come look when they get your resume across their desk, or you pop up in their ATS system and a recruiter goes to check you out, or somebody's trying to make a referral for you? They are more than likely going to go check out your LinkedIn profile. And if your profile looks like this, we seriously have some work to do. So we need picture. Make sure you have a profile picture. I know that seems like low stakes, but I literally just saw somebody's yesterday. It was so bare. They had some content in there, and this is an active member. Like, they had posts, they were posting on other people's, and it was still so bare. I want you to put into chat, if you had to rate your current profile on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, couldn't get any better, this is the best I could possibly put on my profile, all the way to a 1 of like, yeah, I'm that person without a profile picture. How would you rate your current state of your profile? And while you're dropping in your ratings into chat, I want you to consider this profile as your online billboard. This is your professional billboard on how you're showing up, how people are perceiving you. And so if you're falling more into that, I'm more of like a 4 or a 5, I want to jump into how we can make that even better. I'm seeing some 7s, some 6s. Yeah, so just over about halfway there. Yes. Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Raul. Thank you, Kate. Yeah, so let's dive into what it should look like. 1, you have a headline, which is right here, this where it says founder, coach, consultant. It's great. A lot of people do put their title there, but I don't know what you're a coach of. What are you a consultant for? And why this headline is so important. This is the number one thing outside of your name when you pop up in somebody's search, when you comment on a post, when you post yourself. Anytime somebody sees you on LinkedIn, this headline is always going to be paired with your name. So consider it your first impression for people who are finding you. And one key tip is, how are you integrating keywords into your job that you want, not the job that you have? So one exercise that I take all of my clients through is what I call a keyword exercise, where we're looking at their target role and we're uncovering some of these key phrases, keywords that really help them stand out. And we naturally start to integrate them into their headline. Why is that important? When a hiring manager or a recruiter are looking for candidates or qualified people, they're a lot of times searching with some of these keywords. And if you have it naturally integrated within your headline, within the rest of your profile, you are much more likely to show up higher on their search than if you only had like your past title. And so going out, looking at your target job and finding what these keywords are and then naturally integrating them in there is so, so valuable and helps you to start to be visible within this, within the LinkedIn platform. In addition to your headline, optimize your about section. I like to say, tell a story. If I read your about section, do I kind of understand who you are as a person, what your expertise is? Do you add a little bit of your personality in there? Like, give that an opportunity to showcase your value. Consider it like your elevator pitch. And I want to leave feeling a connection or feeling like I understand you a little bit better. After your about section, the third section I always want to prioritize is your experience section. If your experience section and all your past roles reads more like a job description, or if it maybe literally only has the job title that you held and like no description about it whatsoever, we need to update that. Let's list out the impact that you drove, the value you brought to the table. Maybe you worked on a really big project that you're really proud of. Think of these as like story moments that you can showcase what you were able to do. For an example, I've linked a QR code here. Check out my profile while you're there. Feel free to follow me of an example. Now, you may not be a career coach, and that is totally fine. But what I want you to use this as is a structure in which you can go off of to update your own profile. And so if you do not have that profile picture, or if you have a profile picture that I wouldn't necessarily consider professional, if you're looking off into the distance, or you've got sunglasses on, or you're on a beach, like showcase it professional. It doesn't have to be some expensive headshot, but let me draw a professional connection by seeing your profile picture. So that's number one. If your banner, which is this section right here, is blank, update it. Get anything in there, and you can go on to Canva for free and design just a basic image that could literally just have your job title or your target or a quote that you like or something about your industry. Anything here is better than nothing, or leaving it as that blank gray image. So go onto Canva. It's super, super easy, and just design an image that you can upload here. Then your headline, make sure you're crafting in. So when I read your headline, I understand who you serve. There's keywords in there that's going to help you pop up in some of those job search. And if you are actively in your job search and you have something like a portfolio, whether it is on a website or something that you can link out to, there's also a CTA option that you can add up there in that top portion of your profile. Link out to that portfolio. Let people start checking out your experience through that portfolio before they even have that first conversation with you. So that is always a great option from a CTA perspective. Then down below, obviously, you're going to have all of your about section. There's other areas like featured sections. That's a great way to showcase top recommendations from people. If you do not have recommendations, and that's another section within your profile, make sure you're sending out some of those recommendations. Any past colleagues or bosses, I always say those are really great examples to pin up in your featured section. It's kind of like your indirect referrals before they actually check your referrals. So go out, ask 4 or 5. You don't have to ask like dozens of people for recommendations, but just send a few requests out there so that you can see others' take on what it was like to work on you, and recruiters and future hiring managers being able to check that out already starts to build your credibility. So if you haven't scanned that already, check that out. Go see where we can make some updates for your profile so that you can start being visible and showing up on some search results. Meet Chauncey. She was a project manager who I worked with, and she went from having no recruiters to 5 just within 2 days of making these updates. So we did a full profile review where I provided bunches and bunches of recommendations. She went out, she updated that within 2 days. She was already getting outreaches from recruiters. Another client just this week, she's like, it wasn't even 24 hours. And I started getting contacted from people when I made those updates. So there is so much power in making sure you're using this, like I said, a professional billboard to showcase your value and showcase your experience. And you start to become more visible just by using this 10-minute strategy. Outside of recruiters reaching out to you, you're also going to double at least people reaching out for networking opportunities. They start to build a connection with you because you're so clear on what you do and what you bring to the table. Through that connection, they naturally want to start reaching out and networking. Okay, so again, why LinkedIn? This is where people want to make connections. A lot of you at the beginning were saying networking as the word that came to mind when I said LinkedIn. And that is exactly it. Some people are so hesitant on making connections because they don't want to put themselves out there, or out of fear of like, oh, I'm just going to bother this person. Don't say other people's no's. Give them the opportunity. You will be surprised how many people want to connect, want to help. And by you not asking, you're just saying their no's, which takes me to shift number 3 that we're going to make. We want to turn the word networking into a positive. A lot of my clients like cringe when I go to push them on a networking strategy because it instinctively feels awkward. They feel like it's transactional, like, oh, I'm just asking them for a job. Like, this just feels weird. It's very transactional. And that does not have to be the case with networking. I feel like networking has gotten a bad name because that's that internal fear that people have when they hear the word networking, especially if you are an introvert. But did you know that in LinkedIn messages, they have a higher response rate than emails? And InMails get a 10 to 25% higher response rate, which is 300% higher than emails with the same content. You could have the same exact message you're reaching out with. LinkedIn messages, people are expecting. People expect to connect. That is what that platform was built on from the beginning. And my number one thing I tell my clients, I will give you all the job search strategies in the world, right? I will drive your job search success as best as I can, but it is directly tied to the quality and the effort that you put into networking. And some of my most successful clients are those that lean all the way into networking and lean in with a curiosity mind versus a fear mindset and keep punting and kicking that can down the road. So what are those requests that you should not be sending? Something like, hi, I'm looking for a new role and would like to see if you have any opportunities. That is transactional. That will make people cringe. Another one might be, I was just recently laid off and I'm looking for project management role. Do you know anyone who could help me? This sets the tone for being transactional versus building a genuine connection with authenticity. So, secret number 1, how do we do this? Networking is just like building a relationship. You're not probably, I hope not, you're not going to marry somebody after one date, right? Networking is going to be something similar. You are not going to get a job offer or an opportunity right after one outreach message or one conversation. You need to go into it with a curiosity mindset to truly get to know them. So I like to do this from finding something that you have in common with them. This could be something like you both have had a project management role before, or you both worked at XYZ company in the past. Maybe you weren't there at the same time, but you've got that in common. It could be something along the lines of they posted about this topic that you're really passionate about, and that can be your connection point. This is a good spot to start by just going onto their LinkedIn. And if they've done their homework and have their profile optimized, it's going to be robust enough that you can hopefully find something that you can connect with them on to include within your outreach message. Which takes me to secret number 2, a warm messaging script. So like those 2 examples I showed you at the beginning, don't just blurt out that you're looking for a job. Like that just already seems like, oh, well, I don't even know if I can help this person, or it's really kind of transactional. I don't have time for this. I want you to start by calling out that interest area, that connection point that you just found, and drive that conversation from that common ground, which starts to build that genuine, authentic relationship. And then a bonus, if you are engaging with their content, your name is already going to start to be familiar with them. And so the more you're engaging with them, the more comfortable they end up being, and the more likely when you send that request to set up a time to chat or network, they're much more likely to say yes. So what does this look like? And in my network guide, like a pro, like I said, if you stay on to the end, I will provide one lucky winner this. There's some examples in here. I pulled bits and pieces of some of them, but it would be something like, hey, I saw you made a similar career pivot. I would love to hear more about your story. This is a great way for them to share their knowledge with you. Or it could be something different from like a career pivot and something that they are a subject matter expert in. Something like, I came across your profile and noticed you are working on an AI product rollout. I'm currently looking to expand my experience in this area. Would you be open for a 15-minute conversation to learn about your experience? That is exactly the kind of connection that people are more likely to respond with a, yeah, sure, I'd love to spend some time. They want to share their knowledge. They want to share their expertise. And by you building that connection and that common ground, it's already giving them that opportunity to do so and more likely for them to jump on a call with you. Okay, my number one pet peeve is when people don't say thank you. When you are done, when you have a conversation, make sure you follow up with genuine gratitude. Say thank you, call out something that they said that really resonated with you, and don't just end with that. It doesn't have to be one conversation, thank you, email, and then you never hear from them again. Remember, it's just like building a dating relationship when you meet your future spouse and you are starting to get to know each other. Keep connected, update them along the way, grow that relationship. You have no idea the amount of connections that weave through your career, and people know people, and then all of a sudden it turns into an opportunity. This is also what would be considered that hidden job market of, oh, actually, I have an old colleague I used to work with that is just mentioned that they're going to be hiring for this position. Let me connect you with them. Sometimes opportunities pop up like that never even hit the market, and you're already having conversations with that hiring manager. So this is also why the best time to network was like 5 years ago. The second best time is now. If you have not kept your network warm, start now, continue to work it, continue to make it warm and growing and expanding. This helps you in the long run so that your back's not up against a wall when you really need it. This is Luke. This was one of my favorite examples. And we were able to find a connection at one of his target companies. We reached out requesting to connect using one of these warm outreach messages I shared with you. And it was crazy. That day, they had a meeting scheduled to get to know each other, learn more about the company. And the gentleman that he had reached out to wasn't even the hiring manager for this role. They found out they lived only an hour apart. He liked him so much. He's like, yeah, I actually know the hiring manager for a role that they had just posted. He introduced him immediately. He landed an interview within 2 days. And within 2 weeks, he had an offer. Like, this is the power of networking. And I'm so excited when these things pop up, because this is just showing that people want to help. People genuinely want to show up and help. And I like to say, like John F. Kennedy said, a rising tide lifts all boats. Like, people do want to help. And when we are all lifting each other up, we can all rise together. All right, I lied. There's four tips, because I like to throw in bonuses, because that's just who I am. Like I mentioned, posting and engaging with content, that is such a great idea. If you are like, oh, I like to stay in the shadows and I don't really like to post and I don't even know what to post about, it can be so impactful on your visibility. When you post content on LinkedIn, you can reach so many people. And LinkedIn has a feature called impressions where you can see how many people you were able to, your post was in front of. And what's crazy is people who do not even follow you or you're not even connected with are still seeing your content, which naturally grows your connections, your followers, and 97% of HR and staffing professionals are using LinkedIn as their go-to platform for recruiting. And so you showing up, you being present is going to, again, make you more visible. Now, you may be like, I have no idea what to post about. Now, you may be in two different buckets. You may be between jobs. You might have been laid off, or you were out of the job for a while and you're deciding to come back into the job, into the career world. And so one suggestion I have there is to start with an open to work post. And I believe somebody in chat, yes, Melissa, you were talking about the open to work banner being visible. Two things on that while we're on this open to work topic. If you are comfortable and you are in between jobs, I definitely advise have that up, have your open to work up. If you are in a role and you do not want them to know that you're open to work, there is a feature where you can only make it visible to recruiters. So it's totally up to you on what you're comfortable with and where you're at in your job search. But if you're okay with people knowing and you are in between jobs, I have this open to work template where it's kind of like a resume, but in a way it really is showing that ideal companies, those ideal jobs. It's showing your expertise and what you're really looking for. This is also a really great resource to be able to hand somebody digitally, in addition to a resume, right? So this is your profile of understanding what you're looking for so they know how to help you. And it helps you connect the dots for them so that they understand what opportunities fit for what you're looking for. If this is something that would be helpful, definitely DM me. I'm happy to share this template. Now, if you are in the other boat where you're employed and you do not want people to know you're job searching, focus on posting about your target industry or a target company, engaging and commenting on their posts. That's a good place to start. Or maybe you have a specialty area. You're a subject matter expert in a certain area. Pick that. Find trending topics or find things that people are posting about, articles and groups, and start to get involved in some of these groups and see what people are posting about. And then add your value. Don't just comment and say, oh yeah, totally agree. Or, oh, this is a great post. Thanks for sharing. Add some value to it. What's your perspective? What was something you took away from that post? And then what value would you add to that? And so by doing this is a great jumping off point to start posting and start engaging on LinkedIn. Now, you don't have to do this every single day. If you are somebody who does not post at all today, start with 1 or 2 times a week and see how that feels. Once you get comfortable, maybe go to 3 times a week. It does not have to be daily, but the key with LinkedIn is how often you're showing up and you're engaging. Now, if you put a post out there and you're like, well, I only got 2 likes and nobody even commented, do not base your success of your LinkedIn posts off of your engagement. While yes, some of that does help with like making it get out there more, there are so many other people that see your posts that don't necessarily engage. And so there are people who are seeing it and they are seeing how you're showing up. And so do not base that success of what you post or how you post based off of your engagement. Now, I could seriously talk all day. This could be like a 5-hour webinar to give you 1,000 strategies on how to be effective in your job. But to cover what we have gone over today, we need to stop sending hundreds of resumes. Do not waste hours and hours just sending and easy applying. Instead, find 10 minutes a day to look for some of those opportunities in that hidden job market that can drive conversations. And then stop hiding your value. Make sure you update your profile so that I go to that profile as a hiring manager and I see the value you bring, and it's not so focused on your past, but it's optimized to the value you can bring to your future. And so looking through opportunities to really expand that. And again, like I said, use that keyword exercise I spoke of. It really helps make you more visible to everyone on LinkedIn. And then third, let's not give networking a bad name. Let's stop sending transactional outreach messages and start leaning in with curiosity, authenticity, and let's build some real relationships. And let's just stop sitting in the shadows. Just start engaging. And if you don't want to put up your own post, just start commenting on other people's posts. Show up what makes sense for you and in a way that feels good to you. And then continue to grow and push yourself outside of that comfort zone little by little. And the next thing you know, you're putting up posts and you're like, okay, I understand this. I have a take on this. I do have a lot of value and knowledge to add to this. And most importantly, stop trying to ride this journey alone. Those of you who have been in before or are currently in the job market, you know it can be a very, very lonely place. And I want you to know that support is so, so important here. Mindset and the emotional toll that job searching can have on somebody is very hard. And so whether you have a career coach of your own, whether you have a mentor, somebody in your support circle that can help you emotionally, can help support you and keep you positive along this journey is so, so critical. So you have two options today. You can stay where you are. You can stay confused, stay not doing any, not getting any traction, keep doing what you're doing, or you can follow a proven roadmap. And if you are ready to take your job search strategy to the next level, there's a few ways that I can help. One, I definitely invite you to follow my Rise and Shine newsletter. I provide bi-weekly tips like these that could really help move the needle on your job search. I also provide leadership coaching advice as well. And so definitely follow that newsletter. It's linked in my profile on LinkedIn. And if you are so tired, you're exhausted, and you don't have that support system that I talked about, make sure you DM me. And I do a free 30-minute discovery call. We can get under where you're at, what you're struggling with. And then just announcing right now, if you want more like this, where we go even deeper, today we just scratched the surface. I am doing a free 3-day career breakthrough challenge where we will spend 3 days to get clear, get seen, and learn how you can get hired. What this looks like, we will cover in day one, how you get clear on what you actually want. I have clients who come to me and they're like, I need help with my resume. I need to get out there and looking for a job. I'm like, okay, great. What are you looking for? Sometimes they don't even know how to explain that. And if we don't even know where we're going or where that ideal North Star is, how can we build a strategy or plan around it? So first and foremost, you need to get real on what you actually want versus what everyone around you says that you should want. Then in the second day, we learn how to market yourself, how to expand your reach. So in addition to the LinkedIn and networking expansion, we are going to teach you how to craft that compelling career story where you understand how you can bridge your past experience into your next career pivot, whether that's pivoting industries, pivoting roles, pivoting companies, understanding how to come up with that compelling story so that you can communicate, which takes us to number 3. We will learn how you then come to an interview, come to a conversation with confidence on how you're going to communicate your value. And my favorite, get paid your worth. So many people leave money on the table, and I want to make sure that you are getting paid your value. And so understanding how you can negotiate, how you can talk about your value in a way that you're not just rambling or shrinking back and saying, oh, that's good. I'll just be good with that. So we're going to dive into all three of these topics. And if you are interested in this, I've attached a QR code here. Definitely scan that. Join us for free 3 days. It's going to be July 15th through the 17th. If you can't join live, although there will be prizes for certain people who show up live, I will always be sending out the recording. So even if you're interested in those, make sure you register so you don't miss out on this content. But with that, that is everything I have for today. Does anybody have any questions? I probably have time for just a couple here. And let me check chat, see if there's anything to answer. One tip to Melissa on the open to work banner, in addition to making that visible and then setting who you want to see or who should see that you're open to work, whether it's just recruiters or anybody on LinkedIn. Another tip that you can do that I've found to play the LinkedIn algorithm game is turning off your open to work like late Friday. And then come Sunday morning, Sunday evening, flipping that open to work back on, it actually resets it and helps you to show back up at the top for hiring managers and recruiters. And so try that tip too. That also helps, especially if you've had it on for several weeks, helps you to play that algorithm game and start to show up at the top of some of these searches as well. All right, Rosalind, do you have a couple questions? You can drop them into chat if you do. Good question. So the question is, are PDF or Google Doc portfolios okay to link, or should it be a website? It really depends on your area of specialty. You can do this in many different ways. You can do a Google Doc. That's perfectly fine. If you're showcasing your value, showcasing the project that you did. If you are more in the like tech space, having some type of website usually goes a lot further and impacts them in a little bit different way, showing your tech savviness. Again, I'm going to promote Canva. They have a way to do this where you can actually link out to a free URL that you can use within your resume that posts your portfolio online that you can then share and then make updates, and then you just republish those changes as you go. So really it's going to depend on your area of specialty, but Google Docs is a perfect place to start. And then a website if you're in more of the tech industry, tech space. Is it good to have your profile set to show that you attended a job and resume help forums webinars? I had fear in that the other day. I have so far had 2 frauds reaching out. Yeah, unfortunately, there are going to be some scams and spammy, like anything. This is even the case for some recruiters. I always like to vet those out and make sure that, one, you're doing your homework before responding to people who, if they are reaching out. So if you have somebody that says, I have a job opportunity, and then you go to their profile and there's very, very limited information on them, and it doesn't look like they have very many followers, they're probably a spam, like a scam account. And so those just ignore, move on, and look for more qualified recruiters or qualified people that reach out. And yes, Canva does have a free link out capability. So check it out. Canva is my best friend. All right. Any other questions? I am so thankful for everybody that came today. If you have any other questions, feel free to DM me. I'd be happy to answer anything one-on-one as well. Happy to help you rise up. And I will be announcing the winner of our networking guide in our follow-up email. So be sure to check that out. And with that, I am so thankful for all of you. and let's keep rising up. Bye-bye.